Hi everyone, welcome back to Faith and Flour. If you're new here, my name is Robin, and today's video is a fun collaboration with my friend Jennifer over at the Daily Connoisseur. We have put together 6 ideas each for getting dinner on the table when you just don't feel like cooking. We have all been there. Suddenly it's dinner time and there's no plan in place and you are just at the end of a long day. Speaking for myself, it's usually a lack of planning, a lack of time, maybe a lack of patience, and I just have to come up with something quick. So these are some strategies that I have used over the years to get dinner on the table in a hurry. They're things that my family enjoys. So I know that if I have these things kind of on hand in my refrigerator and pantry, I can throw together something fast. So hopefully between my video and Jennifer's, you will be equipped with some fresh ideas for how to get dinner on the table when you just don't feel like cooking. So after you watch my video, make sure you head over to Jennifer's channel and watch hers. I'll have a link for her video down in my description box. I know you're going to love Jennifer if you're not already familiar with her. We have a lot of overlapping content on our channels. We're both very passionate about homemaking and we want to encourage you in that area. And if you're new here and you're just coming over from Jennifer's channel, I just want to give you a warm welcome. We would really love to have you join our amazing group of subscribers here at Faith and Flour. And if you like this video, be sure to give me a thumbs up. Now let's get started with my strategies for getting dinner on the table when I don't feel like cooking. My first strategy is the easiest, and that is to come up with some sort of a cold plate. Essentially, I am taking sandwich ingredients and taking them to the next level in my presentation. My first example of this is smoked salmon on toast. This is by far the easiest and probably one of my family's favorites. It's something that we often serve as an appetizer for special occasions, but I keep some smoked salmon on hand just for this reason. First, I toast up a few slices of bread, lay the salmon that is thinly sliced on top of that, drizzle with some lemon juice, and top with a little bit of freshly ground pepper. And then I serve it alongside of a salad, and I usually try to keep some simple salad ingredients already prepared in the refrigerator, so this is easy to throw together, or you could serve it with fruit or whatever else you have on hand. Another example of a cold plate that my family really loves is our version of a charcuterie tray. This is something that we do almost on a weekly basis, especially in the summertime. And here my husband's helping me out. I'm just putting a little bit of bread together while he does the tray. And this consists of some of our favorite cheeses along with some cold cuts that we like. The cold plate idea is one that I use often, especially in the hotter months, but we love it in the wintertime too. And if you serve everything with a hot cup of tea, which just takes a couple of minutes to make, it feels a lot more cozy. Next time you do your grocery shopping, gather up a few of these ingredients and you'll be able to throw together a really beautiful tray in no time. And it's also really easy to vary with varying tastes. So we have one family member that needs to eat gluten-free, so that's not a problem. I can serve gluten-free bread for him, and the rest of us can have whatever suits us. This is also a really easy way to entertain, but nothing beats it for getting dinner on the table when you are busy and you don't feel like cooking. Breakfast for dinner is another strategy, and of course there are loads of possibilities, but one of my family's recent favorites is sort of an egg McMuffin that I can throw together really fast. In fact, just about anything with eggs is really great for dinner because it usually doesn't take much time at all, and it's always a huge hit in our family. One of the things that makes me feel like not cooking is the thought of cleaning up. And so having a really great nonstick pan is key to throwing things together easily with very little cleanup. And I have been really enjoying this Always pan by the company Our Place. They sent this to me to try it out. I've been using it for almost 2 months now, and I really love it. I'm going to show you a few different ways that I'm using it, but the non-toxic non-stick coating is amazing when it comes to eggs. I don't even need to use any added oil. For this sandwich, I like to break the yolks of our eggs just to cut down on the messiness, but that's a personal preference. And then I season them with some salt and pepper while they're still cooking. Just before I'm ready to flip the eggs, I sprinkle them with some cheddar cheese. Then I flip the eggs and the cheese has a chance to melt and sort of brown and crisp up underneath the egg, and that makes this sandwich so delicious. While the eggs are cooking, I toast up the English muffins, and then I spread one side of each with a little bit of mayonnaise. One of the great things about this sandwich is just how simple it is, and yet it tastes amazing. When the egg is ready and the cheese is nice and toasted, I add that to the sandwich and we just love it as is. Of course, you can vary it by changing up the spread that you use or adding some bacon or sausage, whatever your family prefers. But no matter how you make it, your family will love it and it takes no time at all. And with a great nonstick pan like this Always pan, there's almost nothing to clean up afterwards. Pizza is one that you probably think of regularly, and I'm not talking about takeout. I'm talking about one that you can throw together easily at home with quality ingredients that your family is going to love. And if you have kids, they will love to get involved. Naan bread is what we like to use as our pizza crust. I also have a gluten-free one always on hand for my son that eats gluten-free. Naan bread makes really amazing pizza crust, and it is the perfect size for personal pizzas. Another way to minimize time in the kitchen is by avoiding cleanup, and so I use some nonstick aluminum foil to line my baking sheets. Aluminum foil can be recycled, and you wind up with a lot less waste than if you were to order takeout. I have one of our favorite pizza sauces on hand at all times, and I just spread a little on each of the crust, top it with cheese, and then of course our favorite toppings, and we vary that quite a lot. One of the fun things about making personal pizzas is each family member can put whatever toppings they like on their pizza. You can decide ahead of time what that's going to be to eliminate any extra prep. We really like using things like pre-cooked bacon with pineapple. I also like to use canned mushrooms because those are things my family loves, and those are really easy and take minimal preparation. Of course, if you have some fresh ingredients in the refrigerator, maybe something that you need to use up, pizza is a great place to hide those veggies. If you're concerned that the recipes I've shown you so far are not particularly healthy, I would argue that you could do a lot to make them healthier depending on the ingredients that you decide to add. But basically, I'm giving you some strategies when you are really strapped for time and you've got to get food on the table. And you also want to avoid getting takeout, which is a lot less healthy. There's a lot of added sodium, you don't know all of the ingredients involved, and it actually takes more time to head out and pick something up or even wait for delivery than it does to throw some of these things together. With that said, keep watching because my next two strategies will show you how to put together a little bit better rounded meal. If you're willing to put in just a little extra time, I promise you they're still quick, easy, and delicious. A one-pan or skillet dinner is something that you assemble all in one pan. I love the ones that are created with ingredients I already have in my pantry and freezer. I like to call them pantry meals, and if you search on Pinterest, you will see loads of examples of these. You can get lots of different ideas using ingredients that your family loves. The one I'm going to show you today is Pan Mexican Quinoa, and I will have a link for it down in the description box. I found this recipe on Pinterest recently, searching for some ideas when I was strapped for time, and my family loved it. I like that it used ingredients that I already had on hand in my pantry, along with some ground beef that I usually keep in our freezer. It starts with cooking your ground beef in your skillet. And again, I'm trying out the Always pan, and I love that the spoon has a special little place to rest right there on the pan. You've probably seen the ads and wondered if it's worth the hype, and I have to say, I really think it is. I always am very careful as to what I recommend to you guys. I want to make sure it's something that is really high quality, that, fills all of the claims that it makes, and I would say that this does. So if you guys are interested at all, I will have a a link down in the description box so you can check out the Always pan. After the ground beef was cooked through, I added some garlic, let it cook for another minute or so, and then you can basically add all of the other ingredients. And they are 1 cup of quinoa, 1 cup of vegetable broth, 1 can of black beans drained and rinsed, 1 can of fire roasted diced tomatoes, and 1 cup of corn. I used a whole can of corn. I figure a little more won't hurt. And then stir in the spices, which are a teaspoon of chili powder, a half a teaspoon of cumin, and some salt and pepper to taste. Bring everything to a boil over medium heat, then cover and reduce the heat to simmer until the quinoa is cooked through, which takes about 20 minutes. When the cooking time is complete, stir in the fresh lime juice. And if you have fresh cilantro on hand, that really takes this dish over the top. The recipe also suggests topping with fresh avocado. We did not have that on hand, but I know that would be amazing too. And of course, a sprinkle of some cheddar cheese on top would be great too. Mexican-inspired foods are always a big hit in our home, and we love this chili lime seasoning from Trader Joe's, which always makes everything a little extra special. Sheet pan dinners are another great strategy for getting dinner on the table in a hurry when you don't feel like cooking. And this one I had to include. I think it's funny because Jennifer did a very similar recipe to this a couple of weeks back, and I had just tried this recipe. So great minds think alike, I guess. But this one is for sheet pan pineapple salmon, and I will have the recipe for this linked in the description box for you too. When you're short on time, having a few convenience items really helps out, like these herbs that are pre-chopped and frozen. They're already portioned out. They're teaspoon-sized servings, and so I keep these in my freezer. I found them at Trader Joe's and at my local grocery store, and when I'm putting together a dish like this, it tastes really great to have those fresh ingredients, but I can avoid some of the extra prep. On a rimmed baking sheet that I lined again with nonstick aluminum foil, I laid out the pineapple and on top of that the salmon. And now I'm making the sauce. In a bowl, I'm combining melted butter, sweet chili sauce, chopped cilantro, minced garlic, grated ginger, toasted sesame seed oil, and some crushed red pepper flakes. Whisk everything together and then brush all over the salmon and the pineapple. Bake in an oven that has been preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit until the salmon is cooked through. And I'm using smaller pieces of salmon, so I cooked it for about 15 minutes, but you might need to cook up to 25 if you have larger pieces. The recipe says to switch the oven to broil and broil for 2 minutes or until the fish is slightly golden. Just be sure that you don't overcook your salmon. This would be great served with plain rice, but I wanted to go for something a little different, so I tried Instant Pot coconut rice. It was great. I found this recipe at 365 Days of Crock-Pot. I will have it linked down in the description box so you can get all of the instructions. But I love to make rice in my Instant Pot, and this really kicked it up a notch. It gave the rice such a great flavor and texture. You really have to try it if you've never made coconut rice before. All you will need for this recipe is water, a can of coconut milk, some sea salt, and uncooked long-grain white rice such as jasmine. Jennifer also served coconut rice with her trout and pineapple recipe, and I just think that's so funny, but it actually makes sense. I mean, these are sort of tropical flavors, and these things go so well together. I think that you will really enjoy this combination too. I garnished this with a little bit of fresh green onion, and it was so delicious. It was very satisfying, and though it took a little more effort than some of the earlier strategies that I showed you, it was well worth it, and still it was done in very little time with very little cleanup. I hope that today's video gave you some fresh ideas for how to get dinner on the table when you just don't feel like cooking. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give me a thumbs up. And make sure that you check out Jennifer's video. I will have that link down in the description box. Make sure that you tell her I sent you. I know that she has got some amazing ideas for you as well. And if you're new here at Faith and Flour, I want to invite you to subscribe. Subscribing is free and easy, and if you activate the bell icon, you're gonna get a notification every time I upload a new video so that you don't miss out on anything. Thank you so much for spending your time with us here today. I look forward to talking with you in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, have a great week.